Guys, so I wanted to share with you, I'm planning for homeschooling this week. We're going to be starting on Tuesday since Monday is Labor Day. I'm going to be starting homeschooling. I have a fourth grader, and I also have a kindergartner. My fourth grader is going to be doing all of these subjects. I think I might not do history with my daughter as much, but I think she might have mainly the other things. Um, I do know that this has made last year when I was homeschooling, it was my first year last year, and using this particular planner, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. It makes life so much easier by the simple plan for homeschooling families. I love it, and I ordered it again this year and made it so much easier. I also like to highlight things. It makes it a little bit more organized and easier for me. I have like my daughter in pink. I have my son and I have this yellowish green. And then for something that I'm using for both of them, I have both of them highlighted. So it makes it easier to come in here and be like, oh, this is Emma's work. I've got the page numbers and the books written down for each of them for what I'm going to start. This is what I'm going to be doing this week. And I also got the notes on the side, which was really helpful too. So like I've got on there that I want to take them to the apple orchard and read a book about apples while I do it. So those are some things that I have been focusing on this week. If you want to know a little bit more about what I'm doing, let me know. For each kid, I'm going to focus this year with my daughter, obviously, on reading. That's the main thing I think I'm going to focus on, ABCs, 1, 2, 3s. And then with my son, I'm going to be focusing a lot more on, well, first of all, we're Christians, so we'll be focusing a lot on the Bible. But I also, because I have a newborn, and I had almost lost this baby to something I can share on another YouTube video about almost losing him. But my son, he's turning 10 years old this year, and he was a big help to me when I almost lost him. And that night, it was just very terrifying for both of us. And all he really did was just plug in my phone for me and help me go to the neighbor's house to get help for my baby. But I wanted to instill in him ideas of first aid. After almost losing my baby, I realized that I want my son to have a knowledge of it too if I need help. And when you're in a panic, it's hard to know what to do sometimes. And if my son is there to know how to help somebody, and it's going to help him in the future to be able to help anybody. And I feel like it will be good for his future in jobs and to have the just knowledge of this. Anyway, so that's one of the things I'm going to probably focus on for science. We're going to be doing Bible. We're also going to be starting, I heard a lot about the book Pilgrim's Progress. I have not read it, but I heard it's a good book for Christians, and we're going to be starting on that book this week. I've got most of my curriculum I got from Master Books. If you want to know more about that, just let me know. This one, I'll show you. This is the teacher's guide for the master books for history. And so like the history book, it comes with the teacher's guide with different pages in here. Like this page, for example, it gives the assignments and dates due, and if you want to put a grade. I don't put grades for my children because they're young. I don't really do a lot of grading, but what I do is I do make sure that I check it off to make sure it's done. And I might put a due date on it depending on what it is. But it has this in here for the teacher's guide, and that's really helpful. It also has, for the history, it has worksheets and different things we can work on. I know last year my son really liked the history. It is something interesting to learn. They make it very interesting. And it is faith-based. But even if you are not a Christian, I do think that these are helpful. The history I don't think is as faith-based as the science book and the history or the math book. But they do have a little bit in it. But mainly, like the history book, I think it has some interesting things in here. Like this, it also has the materials listed, and oral questions you can do. I think it has a pretty good variety of things, even for a non-Christian. I think it's a good things we can look at. And like this, for example, is talking about some of the generals and different things in the wars. And it talks about a lot of the things that are necessary. And like, I went to public school, and I know those are some of the things that I learned about too, like the end of the Confederacy. So anyway, I think that these things are really helpful. I really enjoyed them. My son enjoyed them. They're interesting to learn. They're not too long, but they also teach certain things that are good. Anyway, so if you want to know more about what I do, I can add more information, like I said. This is just showing you the history book. I've also got, I can show you, for my daughter. My sister is a teacher, and she gave me some of this kind of stuff that's helpful. So I've got the Unifix cubes that I'm going to try out this year too. It's got an activity book in it that is going to hopefully teach her how to count a little bit better and to add, and prepare her for first grade. So those are going to be helpful too. I've got different things. This thing is the main thing for my daughter. Sorry, I'm focusing on the history book at the moment. Pull this out. I've got the Simply K that I'm going to be doing mainly for kindergarten for my daughter. And this has daily lessons. Lesson 1, day 1. Showing you how to write the letters. And this one has also biblical views too, but I'm sure, like I said, if you're not a Christian, I'm sure that you could go through here and your children would still learn very well, even if you wanted to skip through some of the Bible. Now, I do say that stuff like this book, I noticed more than the history book and the science book. More than the history book, because the science book does have quite a bit of Bible in it. But this one has, okay, let's see. How do I explain this? The history book, it has a good amount of faith-based, but not nearly as much as the science book or this book. This book, for example, has, I'll show you. It has an actual Bible area. So that's like most of this page. I love that about it, but if you do not like that, that does come in here. It is a Bible faith-based book. But they still have, I think, if you don't want to do the Bible, they still have things like the ABCs and more. And I think there's a lot of other things that are very good and very important to learning. So, like life skills right here. So anyway, after stumbling through all that talk, I wanted to share those things, and I've got so many other things I can show you about what I'm going through for their curriculum. I have an education degree. I have two sisters that are both teachers, and I homeschool my kids. I have worked in public schools before, but we chose to homeschool our children. And so I do have a knowledge of it. I have an associate's degree in education, and I almost got my bachelor's before I had my children. So I do have a good knowledge of how to do this kind of stuff and what to look for that's important. This page I thought was kind of cool. Talking about fruits and vegetables and that kind of thing. And talking about food groups. So, anyways, let me know if there's anything else you might like to see that we're working on. I can show you a little more of my planner, what I do throughout the weeks. I can show you more of the books that we go through. Or I can show you or talk to you about my scheduling, how I do things. Now, I plan on doing it a little bit different this year with my children, because I have a 4-month-old. And my daughter last year, she was in preschool and she wasn't doing a lot of actual schooling, but my son, he was in 3rd grade, and it was kind of hard to focus at times with my son on schoolwork when she was not in the mood to be on her tablet or whatever. She just wasn't in the mood or whatever. And it kind of made it hard for her because she was kind of shooed off to the side, and I didn't really like that much. So what I'm going to do this year, instead of doing it all while my husband is at work, it's not as much fun for us because, it takes away from the fun free time or whatever together as a family. But while he's home is when I plan on doing the schoolwork. And then when he's gone, I can have a little bit more fun focusing on the children, playing with them, cleaning, whatever. And that way I can sit there and give each child individual attention, and he can watch the other two. And that way I don't have to worry about, like, my son last year sitting there getting upset trying to do history and trying to read history, but my daughter interrupting every 5 minutes. And it was just very awkward, very confusing, and it made it hard for him to learn. And so I've got a desk up in his room that I plan on taking him to, and then I can focus with him individually while my husband watches the other two. So that's my plan changing this year, and what I'm learning on different things. I can tell you different things that I plan on doing differently. I can show you or talk to you about things I've learned as a homeschooling mom, things that are important for them to learn, things that I don't think are important for them to learn, and kind of how things work as a homeschooling parent. I know, focusing on this book the whole time, sorry. But I just wanted to share with you some of these things and see what you think and see if you want to look into things a little bit more. I wanted to share with you how things work, because I know when I go to like YouTube, what I want to do is I want to look for things that are going to be helpful to me. Yes, I like to go for entertainment, but I also look up for things that I can use and things that can be helpful. And if I can help somebody not be so confused like I was when I first started homeschooling, I had so many questions, and I felt like I was drowning and just trying to figure it out all myself. And I had an education background, and I was still very scared and confused. And I still don't know quite a bit as much as I wish I knew. You're learning as you go along, and you can learn right along with me if you watch these videos. Just let me know what you might like to know and what you're interested in, and we'll see you later, guys. Just subscribe to me if you want to see anything more. I'm gonna have videos of all kinds of things on our page. We're the Gerber clan, and I'm gonna have homeschooling videos. If you would like to see those, I can always start my own site just for me too, if you'd like me to do a separate one just for homeschooling pages. And then the Gerber clan can be the more fun things, my shorts and different things we do for fun as a family. Just let me know what you think. Subscribe to me, comment, and we'll talk with you later. Love you guys.